spamming.
Yeah.
And that still happens today.
Take it off.
Yeah.
Take
that off.
Take it off, baby. You got nipple tassels on? Okay, sorry.
Rob's like, we're talking about sales. I'm getting into this shit. Hi, I'm John Timmerman, and Al thinks I look like a young Santa.
Hi, I'm Rob Schauger, and I always take life with a grain of salt, and a slice of lime, and a shot of tequila.
And I'm Al Kutri, and I'm a doctor.
And we are the co-founders of the NoBull Company. What's up, Buzz Nation? Welcome to I'm a Little Buzz, coming to you from inside Syracuse Studios. Syracuse is Syracuse's newest co-working space, combining creativity, community, and comfort. Check them out at syracuse.com. And if you are watching this show, remember to subscribe to us on YouTube so you don't miss any of our upcoming live shows on Tuesday. And as always, if you're listening via podcast, subscribe on Apple, Google Play, Spotify, wherever you love to listen to our ugly mugs. Can you listen to an ugly mug?
You can listen to an ugly mug.
You can?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
Okay. Well, this is the show, if you couldn't tell, that we combine a ridiculous amount of... Wait, what?
I don't know.
I don't know either. Holy moly. Let's...
Don't look
I think we
ahead,
should
Al.
just keep all this in here, but hey.
Whatever.
Anyways, this is the show where we bring a ridiculous amount of life to business while sharing beverages and stories that get us buzzed. Man, that was a struggle to get through, but I made it. Rob, what's getting you buzzed?
Damn it, John, I'm glad you finally asked.
Made it.
TacFit.
TacFit. What is it?
So TacFit is this system where you can work out and you can use your body.
Oh.
So let's say you're traveling and you don't have all the tools that you have with you at home.
I was going to ask, what else would you use
So
to
you
work
can
out?
use the weight of your body and motion and things like that.
It was
so
very
it's-
Francesca Fit of you.
Yeah.
And now they do have some other cool things that you can do. There's videos and all that stuff, but
Love it.
you can just go basically do it anywhere. So
TacFit.
You'll teach
Round
me
one.
everything.
Live Hard starts Sunday.
Awesome.
Here we go.
Al, what's getting you
You
buzzed?
want to jump back in?
Eric the Exterminator.
Is that a wrestling? Is that a wrestler?
No.
WWE or?
Eric the Exterminator. No, he's real, and he's my exterminator. I have something living in my wall, and it's.
You know how much Al hates all that creepy crawly
I don't
shit.
like anything in my house.
Eric's sleeping over in the spare bedroom just to keep
Eric's
an eye.
coming tomorrow. I'm pumped, and there's something in my wall. It's been there for a long time, and now it's getting aggravated. And it's right behind where my computer
The
is.
thing is getting aggravated, or you're getting
Well,
aggravated?
we're both getting
Both.
aggravated, and now I know I cannot live with someone.
Especially if they live in the wall.
Hibernation
Because
season.
all day and night.
Oh man.
So I was like, Eric the Exterminator, you come and you do whatever you got to do.
Cheers to Eric.
Wow.
Yeah.
What about you, John?
I'm pumped about our live show. We started with the live show. We started via COVID when this whole thing hit. We didn't know what was going to happen with our event, right? We went live. It was cool. We had, 10 dedicated fans, maybe 20 or something like that. Then we decided to go high production, Hollywood, and make this show, which I'm very happy with. But I know, Al, you've wanted to for a while, get back to our roots and have a live show where we could communicate with people, answer questions and comments right on it. So we are doing it. So make sure you subscribe to Facebook and YouTube because we'll be hitting those platforms live Tuesday at 8:30 p.m. Anyways, today's show is about the need to stop selling so fucking hard and start delivering value. So we'll tell you all about whatever that means in just a second. But first, now is the time, I better put my top on, to cheers to life, love, lots of laughter, and accidentally liking your ex's Instagram photo.
Oops.
Whoops!
Don't do that again, Al.
Wait, you quadruple tap and you can remove that. So that's,
Wait, what?
if you like it, you can double tap and it will unlike it.
But then they know.
Doesn't it remove the notification?
Well, yeah, but I mean,
Unless
they get
they're
the
like-
they get the notification. It's too late. Once you do it, it's too
Oh,
late. There's
yeah.
no going back.
Okay. All right. Well, before we get into the topic, we're hitting the sippy sip. Al, take us away.
Sippy sip is this. I say words that I make up 2 minutes before this segment. The boys answer at speed, lightning cat speed.
Watch how fast we go.
Boom.
Lady Gaga.
Awesome.
Rob, where are you, bro?
I was thinking of Lady Gaga.
You're like a
Stunning.
Oh, wow. It's like how John feels about who was
Every
it?
good-looking
every
male
good-looking
Hollywood actor that became an entrepreneur.
Vanilla Ice. Speaking of that,
Ice, baby.
spam in the can, not to be confused with email spam.
Yeah.
Okay, stilettos.
High heels.
The clapper,
I don't know what that
not
is.
to be confused with the clap.
Her. The
Turn
loud?
it on.
You don't know what the clapper is?
Is that like this thing?
The clapper.
Oh, that clap. Oh,
God.
way
And you're-
different.
and you're in
clapper.
marketing.
I was like in the sports world. Well, this is why
Oh,
we're the
yeah.
clappers.
Oh,
Yeah.
I don't know.
All right, that's fair. Meat wagon.
Hot
Question
dog.
mark?
Really?
Was this a repeat? Did you say meat
I don't
wagon?
think so. I
don't
said
think
meat
so.
sweats earlier.
What is the meat
The
wagon?
meat, yeah. Wee, here comes the meat wagon. You never heard of that? I think it's
Oscar Mayer.
Strike two on the
I'm
marketing
not
guy.
100% sure, but it was in Tommy Boy.
Oh.
I think. Look it up.
Okay.
John Travolta.
Saturday Night
Stunning.
Live. Fever.
I'm gonna just the next one's gonna
I
be
just
all
thought
dudes.
that was perfect.
Yeah. The
Yeah,
next
I
one's
actually
gonna be
don't-
all
I
hot guys.
He's a good dude. He's not stunning though. He's not
No,
quite
he had
The
a
Rock
tough
or Justin Timberlake. He has had a tough life. Tough life.
And
That's
it's
what I'm
because
going
of Scientology. Anyway, milk duds,
with. Disgusting.
Movie theater.
possum.
Also
Slow.
disgusting.
Wow.
I'm picturing the one that I saw Roadkill when I was.
And I
running the
hate
other
that
day.
it starts with an O because I want to be like opossum.
I actually said that when I was a kid.
Really?
I would say opossum,
Yeah.
like a possum, but like opossum.
Yeah. Well,
And then it faded away.
as an
when
adult,
got
I
mature.
thought silhouette was pronounced silhout. And I was like, oh,
Oh, I can see your silhout.
wow, what's
See it?
sil? And I didn't say it out loud, but I was
Oh.
like,
just thought
silhout?
it.
What the hell is that?
Did you avoid it because you weren't sure if it was
Totally.
correct? You were like, yeah, that's a good
Totally.
outline.
There, look at that figure.
Nice still out.
Nice silhout.
Silhout,
You got
bro.
there. Was that it?
It's it, bro.
Awesome.
There you go.
Sippy sip. That was pretty good. All right, so today we're talking about the need to stop selling so hard and start delivering value. This is, who knows, we might get some salespeople out there to push back on this a little bit, but this is from my experience trying to sell. This is from experience realizing like how the best salespeople actually operate.
I know.
I'm curious to see, Rob's like, well, I'm out.
What's the matter?
I just had an eerie feeling.
Oh,
Was it-
You want me
Edit
to
that
check it out?
Was it correct?
We're good.
Oh, good. We're good.
Check- Okay.
And you know, like when people hear salesman, salespeople,
the worst.
salesperson, right? Sales anything. Generally, it goes to like the 1980s, like the Wolf of Wall Street, like phones, you know, spamming,
Yeah.
and that still happens today.
Take it off.
Yeah,
Take it off.
that off.
Take it off, baby.
Woo-wee.
Da-da-da-da.
There
You
you
got
go.
nipple tassels on? Okay, sorry.
Rob's like, we're talking about sales. I'm getting into this shit.
I know. Wow, we struck a chord.
So selling hard, like a hard sell, in my opinion, of course, there's exceptions to the rule possibly out there, but is an outdated tactic. I believe an updated tactic or a outdated tactic is to add value. I'm pretty sure I know your answer to this, but I'd like to hear your general thoughts. So let's start the conversation. You know, you could sell yourself. You could sell a product. You could sell an idea. You could sell a show, like a thing. I guess that's more like a product, right? But like whatever you're selling, you know, do you guys think that there's any opportunity to hard sell something in today's day and age that will still work better than a soft sell or a value sell or, you know, a person like, personality sell.
This is a tough one for me. I really this is a tough topic for me.
Even as a consumer or whatever, like you can kind of give your thoughts. Like,
yeah. I mean, I think there are things, right, where it's a yes or no. Like, so on both sides, as a salesman, I think there are positions as a salesman where you need to close deals.
Yeah.
And you don't have the time to build relationship.
Yeah.
You don't. It's either like, hey, can you act now or not? And you need to move on to the next person because you don't have the time to be like, what can I give you in value? How can I give back to you? Like, there's no time for that.
Yeah.
You've got to close. And that's just the nature of the business. And like, it's easier to just be like, okay, thanks for your time. Appreciate you. Take the no and move on.
Which I believe that's why this tactic still exists, is because of that. A salesperson who's hired by a company that says you need to hit this quota, and however you're going to do it. And so
right,
oftentimes that comes out like, I'm going to email as many people as possible with this template message, or I'm going to pick up the phone and do this script.
It's all about law of averages and numbers.
Yeah. And that's why I believe the hard sell still exists.
But so I have a question. Do you think that will ever go away? I think that will always exist in certain contexts.
100%.
It has to.
I think, it's sort of the conversation we had about passion and purpose, where like you find like, I think there's a happy marriage of the law of averages,
right,
and having the value-driven approach at the same time. So I don't think a good sales program could exist without number goals, without saying, I need to reach out to. I just posted this on LinkedIn actually last week of like how I'm going to get Good Monster to $1 million in ARR, additional annual reoccurring income. And so I reverse engineered that $1 million all the way back to how many leads we need to reach out to. But that number, I think it came to like, we need to have 40 pitches per month, I think, or something like that. I can't remember exactly what the numbers were, but obviously I need to study those numbers better. But those 40 pitches wouldn't work if every time I got into a meeting, I'm like, hey, do you want marketing? Are you ready for marketing for your business? It's $10,000 and here's what we'll get for you. Are you ready to go? Let's sign, let's do this thing. Those 40 pitches are only going to work if I'm empathetic, if I'm saying like, no, actually, you could pay $10,000 to run ads over here and we would make some good money off of that, but that's not the best strategy. Right. I would actually rather you work for $2,000 on this thing, it will work
trust
better.
Building, all that stuff.
Value. You want us to do a free audit for you? Not a problem. We'll do that. It's easy. Oh, you want us to send over some resources for you? Not a problem. That's the value-driven approach. And we might not sign that client for 2 years, but we delivered value and that'll come. Yeah. I have the luxury of doing that. I own the business. A salesperson doesn't have the luxury because they need to hit their monthly quota or their quarterly quota. And
I did sales for a while for different things, and it is not for me.
Yeah.
Period. End of story. I hate selling.
Yeah.
I like providing value. I hate selling.
And it's obviously there's different industries. So if you're watching this, or you're listening to this, shoot us a message, hop over onto the socials and, let us know your thoughts on what industries maybe need this. But I use the Zappos example all the time, which is, yes, they're a product company, a consumer product, right? And so you might be in a B2B company out there and saying like, oh, this won't work. But they literally built their entire business on customer service and making sure customer service was adding value, not just fixing a problem.
It was the Amazon model.
Zappos is now owned by Amazon, actually.
Well, that's what I'm saying, but it's the same model.
Yeah. Zappos still to this day, I believe, gives out awards and promotes like the longest customer service call. Like the record, I'm going to look it up here, but the record is something like a 12-hour customer service call.
You can't be serious.
I am serious.
Shame on that person that is the caller.
Yeah. And
a 12-hour call.
Record customer service.
It sounds like the facts that I make up about business.
10 hours and 43 minutes was the record in 2016. I'm pretty sure they broke that.
Who was the customer or the
10 hours and 51 minutes.
Did they
the current
talk somebody
record.
off of a ledge or?
what was the company?
Zappos. Zappos.com.
Over a bad pair of shoes?
Who knows? But this is where, see, you're shaking your head. Most business owners, people would shake their heads and be like, that's insane. That's a terrible use of time. But that is one of the best examples that I can give of like a sales sort of program that doesn't make sense in the short term, but now has grown a $1 billion company on the backs of sales that's not salesy. Right?
Right.
And I think I'm going to get some kickback on that. That's not sales. Like that's customer service. That's different. But my argument is that customer service is the new sales. Like really great customer service is selling. And so,
right.
You know, if we're talking about, I don't know, name an industry that like has hard sales.
Cars.
Perfect example.
The
I have another
automobile
example.
Sales industry, and I feel like, so we buy slightly used vehicles, you know. So 2 years ago, I bought a 2017. I don't deal with that, but I think some of the sales tactics in that industry has changed.
Yeah,
I don't think it's like it was 20 years ago, where you're like,
it's a different.
I don't even want to go. That's why people would go look at their cars on the lots on Sundays, right?
Yeah,
it's like I can just go freaking look without somebody like 10 Hawks. Vroom.
Yep.
How they like race
Somebody's
out to
in
the
the lot.
lot.
Oh, let's go. You know,
Online has changed that game too,
Yep.
big time.
Yep.
I shopped for my last truck online.
Yeah. You know what I don't like? I'll
before
tell you.
I went in and was like, I want this.
Oh right. What'd you use? Carvana?
I don't remember. I searched them all. I didn't actually buy it online, but I did all the research. I did all the stuff.
How do you
online.
guys feel about in terms of sales, right? And the whole show is about stop selling, which we'll get back to that. But in terms of sales, the one huge pet peeve that I have is when the sale is, you know, negotiable in terms of not like, hey, how do we meet in the middle here? Like how do we make this happen? Like we'll figure. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about, you know, call it the car dealer or call it the telemarketer that calls you. And like, if you give pushback, well, you know, okay, I can give it to you for this one-time offer. That's
I hate that
scamming, bullshit, artist fuckery, and I don't like it.
Please pull that out as a video clip for social after you edit this thing.
But I have to bleep it.
Magical. That's what makes it 1,000 times funnier. The bleep makes it so much funnier.
So anyway, it makes me insane because to me, that's like, if you're selling anything, either do not ever negotiate on the price.
Right.
Like, you know, there's plenty of companies that like, there's no discounts. The price is the price. You either buy it
or just give me your best price to begin with,
or you have the lowest price or the best price, and it's like it doesn't go any lower. This is it. Like, so when people get into like price negotiating, it makes like shit goes wrong in my brain. And I automatically won't buy from them because I'm like, you're trying to screw me.
I think it's different in the B2B world though.
Is it?
Yeah. Because like I've negotiated
I'm talking
prices.
about B2C though.
Yeah. I think that is scammy.
Go back to your truck purchase.
Yeah.
So
I leased it. So it was different.
When you leased the truck, what about Lindsay's?
She bought hers.
So when you guys did that, do you go to the salesman who has to go to the wizard behind the curtain and does their thing? They just go back there and bullshit or do whatever, and then he comes back out in the back and the forth and the back and the forth. And I'm like,
let me see what I can do. Hold tight just 1 minute. Can I get you some coffee? Do you want some water?
Yeah. I don't know. We had a pretty good experience, and so Drivers Village was the one, and you know, their whole company is pretty ethical. For the most part. I mean, there's different. The family owns different aspects of it.
Good.
So their salespeople are very upfront. They're like, no, we can't go that low. Like we'll lose money. Like it doesn't make sense, right? And so of course you'll get people in there that are like, oh, you're a billionaire. You know, like you can lose some money. Like like hook me up.
Get out.
Whatever. But like, we had a pretty good experience with them. But there's definitely probably definitely, probably.
You sound like Trump. Probably, definitely.
Probably, definitely. Car dealerships out there, smaller ones that are,
Still
just
doing bullshit.
Yeah, trying to make as much money as they possibly can. I have an interesting story though. A friend of mine was a car salesman. Interestingly enough, now works for BHG. But he worked for a car dealership and took a really interesting approach to his sales, which worked great.
What was it?
He would learn as much as he could about somebody who's looking for a car.
Mm-hmm.
He would learn as much, just, hey, you're going to college. Where are you going to college? What are you taking? What are you taking there? What's your major? What do you want to do after there? Cool. Like, do you like sports? Like, just taking a genuine interest in somebody. Not saying like, oh, you can get this one for $500 off and I'll sell you this. Like, just letting them browse around. And he was just being a good person. Like, that's it. Yep, I'll tell you about this one. No, you don't like that one? Yeah, not a big deal. Like, oh, you want this one because it's $20,000 cheaper? Not a big deal. We'll do that for you. Like, just like personality jujitsu, like just like going with the flow.
Always a win.
And just being like a good person. And that would open up trust to the point where there's no pressure to sell. He would end up making the sale a lot of times because they trust him. And then he would take that entire story and he would put it on Facebook. He would take a picture of them, no matter what it was, $50,000 car, $10,000 car. He would take a picture with them in front of the car, and then he would tell their entire story that he just learned on Facebook. Long, like freaking blog posts, like, meet Sally. She's, doing this, and this. She wanted this car, but this guy, she's going to school for this. Da, 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 da. So like he combined his selling was just selling himself, which I think is like the new sales, like selling yourself. But then he also he wove in marketing, which was taking that story in and posting. He hit his sales goals every month, blew them out of the water. He was the top salesperson month after month after month after month, just by basically using those two tactics.
Sincerity.
He didn't worry about earning another $5,000 on this car in order to hit his quota for this, because he
did it in volume.
Sincerity always wins.
And the word of mouth recommendation that came from that,
he's a good guy,
fed his cash flow. As our last episode.
When I was doing real estate, and I got a lot of real estate friends, but when I was doing real estate, that's another numbers game. Like, you got to hit things for your broker and different things. I would take people around, and some real estate agents will be like, they want to sell a particular property, but the person walks through it and they're kind of like, well, the kitchen or whatever, and they're like, well, you can knock this wall out, and they try to convince them. I was like, oh, you don't like the kitchen? Let's leave.
Yeah.
And I would say, like, why are we wasting? We have like so many other houses to go look at. Let's not even waste our time here. If you don't like the kitchen where you're going to spend a lot of time, we should leave.
Yeah.
Now, the bedrooms don't matter.
Yeah.
And I was that kind of a real estate guy. I was like, what? Let's leave. Like, let's just go.
Mm-hmm.
And they were like, oh, okay.
Yeah. Wait, like, were they like looking for you to give them something else?
Well, I think they were surprised at how uninterested I was at selling them a house.
Yeah.
And I was like, yeah, I don't want you to buy a house that you don't really like.
Yeah.
Like, you should buy the house that you love. I'm still going to get the sale. Like, it doesn't matter. If you buy a house a year from now, that's still
right.
It's going to go well for me anyway.
And that's where I think the discrepancy is.
Into it for tomorrow.
That's where we're going to get hardcore salespeople out there saying like, oh, you should have upsold them here.
Like,
and
you're not
this.
A good salesperson, and you're not in real estate anymore.
Yeah. Well, but to that point, I think there's something to be said. Like, that is the point that, at least I think that we need to understand, is that sales, when you have pressure, it puts you into the bucket of needing to hard sell more. Right. You're forced into it. You don't have the luxury of time. You don't have the luxury of developing a long-term relationship. If you do have the luxury, number one, the company might be smart enough to be able to fuel that and wait long enough for that.
Right.
But developing the relationship over time is the key to successful
longevity.
Sales growth. Because if you get the quick sale, you upsell, you offer something, a few things could happen. Number one, it could work out, right?
Yes.
You could have that perfect unicorn of you delivered value in a short period of time. You gave them an amazing deal and they were happy.
Boom.
And they're happy with the after
right.
product,
yeah.
right? What they actually got, right? Another thing that could happen is you could lose your shorts on the deal because you gave them too much of a discount to make them happy.
Yep.
You tried to sell them and
Right.
whatever. And then the third thing is they could end up going based on triggers, right? Based on something you upsold them and you got the deal and you signed the contract or you sold them the thing. And then afterwards, they either realize they didn't get a good deal, they're not happy with the product or whatever
Right.
might happen. And you lose that brand, that positive trust for the remainder of your existence,
Mm-hmm.
right? And I believe organizations that can build out a good model to allow their salespeople
Yep.
to develop relationships is the best for long-term value.
Mm-hmm.
I know this specifically because, and we talked about our outreach for Good Monster,
Mhm.
right? Outreach, you email outreaching, hitting 1,000 people a month, CMOs trying to sell them and marketing services. I've gone through the life cycle. Started this about 5 years ago on LinkedIn. Messaged 100 people using LinkedIn Sales Navigator. Here's some tactical advice for you salespeople out there. 5 years ago, I grew Good Monster by reaching out to 100 people on LinkedIn Sales Navigator. Every week, for every 100 people, I would get about 10 to 15 to respond. So it's about 10 to 15%
3 to sign
response
up.
rate. And then about 2 to 3 to actually set up a meeting. And then we would sign a new client.
Close one.
Yeah, close one usually per month. Those were the numbers.
1 in 100.
Yep. That dried up once LinkedIn became hugely popular. And then everyone started to do this in automated outreach via Messenger and whatever. That stopped. So then we were like, okay, let's apply this now to email. Let's go over to email and try to do this via email. Tried to make it really like value driven and saying like, oh, we'll do a free audit and all this kind of stuff. Nothing. Crickets, right? So we upped the number. So now we went to 200 and then we went to 300 and we went to 500. Still nothing. I mean, we got some responses and things like that, but
Gosh,
no actual
You have the
business
patience of a
closed.
saint.
So we were trying to hard sell. We were getting sort of desperate and saying like, the sales channel's not working. It's not working like it did with LinkedIn. LinkedIn doesn't work anymore. So let's move to email. That's not working. Let's up. Let's sell. Law of numbers, law of averages.
Mm-hmm.
Like, let's go. We tweaked the messaging. We used sales hacks. I downloaded ebooks and we did all this other kind of shit.
Mm-hmm.
Nothing worked, right? So we just stopped it. Used marketing and other channels to get business, right? Well, now realizing that we were approaching it all wrong, we're actually going to start back up the outreach process again and reach out. Somebody on my team, perfect for it. She's got a great personality. She's lovable. She's likable. She's going to start reaching out as just a human. Like, not even going to say initially, like, here's what we do. Can we help you? Any of that kind of stuff. She's just going to be honest. Hey, I found your information here. I scraped it off the internet. Like, your company's cool. I think I want to buy some products from you. Maybe we could work together in the future, but right now I just want to buy. Like, literally just being a human, knowing that the long-term goal is hopefully we can get some business in the future. Maybe it's a good fit, but I've literally worked with her to say, if it's not a good fit, 5 months down the road, if they're not a company we want to take on, just let it go and say like, it's been great talking to you or whatever. So like that I got from reading some books and studying some other companies. I'm convinced that a year from now, this strategy will pay off big time.
Yeah.
Because it's a little bit like, what you do in your career. It's online business development. As long as we can get over the hurdle of the initial few emails that are sort of cold and addressing that elephant in the room right away so that they're not like, oh, this person's reaching out to me, automatically wants to get business. If we can adjust that in the messaging, I firmly believe that will generate a massive amount of business.
I couldn't agree more. The second I get any email on LinkedIn or anything that is a template, I don't even read it. It immediately goes in the trash.
Yep.
I don't even read it.
Same.
Like it's like, oh, you're a template and a robot and not interested, and this is just bullshit. And pretty though, nice template. Maybe I'll take it. But like, it's not. They don't have a single chance.
So does every C-level executive on the planet.
It's
unless the one piece, and this is where I think you'll get a lot of sales trainers saying like this is the case, unless it's the right thing at the right time with the right message.
lot of
The
volume.
stars align and
Yep.
it's like you hit the right thing. But overall, the template bullshit, I'm not for it. Human to human. Hey, reached out, just want to set up a meeting, learn more about it. I have no ask. I just want to learn more about it.
That approach will never get old and will never ever go away.
Until humans go away.
There's not like that's not trending now and then not trend. No, that is consistent across the board, will always work. The question is, can your business sustain itself as you're doing that? So yeah, you may need to do some other things in conjunction with that, but that will never, ever, ever go away. So if you're a salesperson that's on salary, like that approach all day long.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and unfortunately, there's not a lot of companies that are hiring people.
They're data driven.
This is a tough one because like, you can't always do this, right? Sometimes you're in a position where you just got to move product or whatever it is. You got to move it.
Or, you know, while you're doing that, you've got to spend time building those relationships in that way.
Yeah.
So yeah, you might take half of your day where you're just hammering the shit out of the phones or emails or doing whatever, but there's got to be a portion of your day where you're going back and handling it in that way. And friendship farming, you know, building people. Like, I mean, if you sit down with anybody and have a cup of coffee and time it, say, hey, look, so you decide 30 minutes, 60 minutes, whatever it is, right?
Yeah.
And you just ask somebody about themselves and their family, they will chew up 60% of that time before they turn and ask you about yourself. You didn't try to crush them. It's a multi-step process.
But I'll tell you, if you're one of those people you're in a position where you have to be like just a pusher, if you're going to push mildly hard, if you get a no, take the no, but also take that opportunity to be super kind to the no and be like, hey, totally understandable. I understand that it's not a fit. But if you know anybody, like, you know, take that minute to nurture that no and make them feel good about their no and say, you know, I'm working hard over here to whatever. Obviously, we're all people. But if you know anybody that this is a great fit for, I would love if you could just mention to them, and here's my contact info, and have a great day. You know, just kind of like nurture them anyway in 2 seconds, and then hang up. Have a great one. You know, they'll still remember you. Like, that was the nicest guy I've talked to all day.
Yeah. Another tip too to add value that more and more sales teams are starting to use, I'm seeing, is to utilize social media to add value to people and prospects. Right. So LinkedIn's a big one, obviously, with B2B and things like that. Twitter could be, depending on the industry that you're in and who you're trying to sell to, because there are some executives that are on Twitter because that's like the PR more side platform. But using that to develop relationships, and you know, it starts. So Goodmaster actually coaches some people on LinkedIn and how to use it, some executives, but like and comment on their stuff in a very genuine way. I mean, look, none of this is going to work if it doesn't come from a genuine place. So if you're trying to use value-driven and genuine as a way to hack your way to your quota, it won't work because it will come through.
Your poisonous shit character will come through eventually.
True. Your comments will say, you know, it'll seem fake. You know, like and heart, every single comment I make, like and heart. You know, but if you're saying, hey, Frank, saw you post a lot on green energy. Have you read this amazing article I just saw from NPR? Like message, like that kind of stuff over and over again adds value. It has worked on me before, right? It has worked on me from software companies that, oh
boy.
Oh my goodness. At least it wasn't me.
Music.
At least it wasn't me.
Or just shut it off.
Hold.
At least it wasn't me this time.
Did shut it off.
Yeah.
Dang. Start it up again, bitch.
Maybe you got Wi-Fi on.
So we'll pick up there. The name of the show is Stop Selling, right?
Stop selling so fucking hard.
Oh, that's the name of the show. Yeah.
And start adding value.
And start adding value. Okay,
I don't know
that's
if
a
the title
very
is-
long title.
Not actually the title, but that's the topic.
Yes. And we've talked about sales strategies and what things that work, but like, let's talk about the win, right? You got the sale. You talked to somebody, it went well.
Yeah.
You took them out on a date. Like, you're good.
Yep.
They want to see you again. How do you know that you're good? Like, how do you know
Like
when to stop
when you've
selling?
made the sale?
Like, hey,
Sale.
thanks. Talk to you tomorrow. See ya. Or like whatever it is. When you've made the sale,
So I think
some people don't stop.
I think that's interesting because so in the
And then
B2B
they blow it.
world,
Then they blow it.
the B2B world, this is a fine line because if you don't get a contract, like you might have thought you made the sale,
Right.
and something else comes in. Oh, we decided to go with somebody else. Oh, actually, president didn't actually approve the budget. Like, there's a whole host of things that could happen. So,
Right. I'm talking about just the period of time where like you've won the conversation, and I mean that in the best way possible. Like it's done.
You don't oversell.
You got your point across. They fully understand.
I think it's rectified if
And then
you
you blow
don't
it.
hard sell, right? Like if you're delivering value, then they're going to reciprocate activity and ask questions and say, hey, put together a proposal, do this. Like they're going to be asking for it. So in my mind, if you're delivering value and you're being a good person and trustworthy, they're going to want to do business with you, and you don't have to sell. You don't have to keep saying, oh, like you can also get this,
I know,
and
I'm
here's what
saying,
you'll
what's
also
that
get.
point? At what point do you know, like, okay, now is when I stop and I wait for their next action? This is like dating, right? Like, at what point? How do you know whether it's B2B or B2C? I've said everything that I could say that was within the value prop, within my like thing, and now I'm done, and I will wait for their next action before I try to actually close that into like a closed deal. But like, let's say you're just pitching people, you're talking to people, you're networking, whatever. How do you know when it's like, I'm done? Like I'm done. You have all of me now.
Again, I think it deals with the definition of selling, but I don't think you can ever stop selling. I don't think you could. Again, this is just my perspective, but if you're not hard selling and you're adding value, okay, your goal is to sell. There's a banner in our studio over there.
Yeah,
you
we're
need to
selling
sell 100 banners per month,
Mm-hmm.
right? And so you have that quota.
Right.
You're at a networking event.
Correct.
And you're there and it's full of your banners. I don't know. You got your banners all around the place, and you're talking to somebody, you and I are talking, and you say, hey, do you host events? You do stuff for your employees or do you hold events, trade shows, things like that? Yeah, we do 4 or 5 trade shows per week. Cool. Do you feel like trade shows are still relevant, or do you feel like they're dying? Are people doing more virtual stuff? Yeah, man, they're doing more virtual stuff, here and there, but we still do these 2 big trade shows, per month. And how are those? Like, you just keep going with the conversation. Right. You start to learn. You start to say, actually, we've seen in our industry that trade shows in this industry are actually still a huge driver of sales. Not so much in these industries. So you start to add value, your perspective, because you're in the event space, being a banner producer. Yeah. And naturally, the power of reciprocation will probably take form, which is, oh, what do you do? What do you, why are you, I've been talking to you for 20 minutes. Like, what are you doing here? Mm-hmm. Oh, see all those banners there? Like my company makes all of those. Yeah, we do them for all different industries. And I love it. I love it. I love meeting people. I love helping to promote and market, things like that. So that's my definition. Again, this is just me.
That's a conversation.
That's me selling.
That's a conversation. I'm talking about like
you've pitched it and you're done.
Right.
Right.
Because there's a ton of people that are not in that space of like, they're able to have those conversations. There's people out there that need to sell stuff.
That is selling. Like that's.
I know what you're saying. So I think it is at some point in time, you just got to trust that this person is a person of their word. they've said, okay, we're good. Either send me the paperwork or, get me the contract or, when can you deliver or, you look for the closing signs, right? If that person, if you got that feel that they were good and they were committing to the purchase and they don't, and they try to back out of it, then to me, they weren't worth doing business with to begin with.
Right.
So you look for the closing signs and then you're done,
So you're saying, ask for the sale is a big thing in sales, right? So like I didn't get to the ask for the sale. So if you're going through the conversation before you break with that person, you would say, do you have any use for a company like us? Do you produce your banners? You happy with them? Can I help in any way? That's sort of, asking for the sale. Can we help in any way? And if they're like, yeah, sure. We got these 3 upcoming events. We're probably going to be ordering 10 or 20 banners for them or something like that. Can I put together a little quote for you? Sure. Send it over via email. And so is your question after that happens?
I think some salespeople that are not
happens after
well-trained salespeople will. This is just like dating, right?
Yeah,
it's no different. Like too much, too soon, too hard, too ambitious, too aggressive, too like those are $100. These are like they don't know when to stop the sale to give the other person time to like breathe and marinate and sort of want them back. Right. So that's what I'm talking about. I don't think that's how today's society works. People are so fucking busy.
Well, right. That they're not thinking about this proposal that you just sent them. Most people probably won't even read it the first 4 times you follow up. That's why in sales, follow up is the most important thing. Like I've hired vendors before that followed up with me for 6 months before I even looked at what they were sending me.
Well, the Sonic guy followed up with me for 5 years. Finally got me.
Yeah, he's not working there anymore, or he left because of dropped off because of COVID because he had stopped sending me these emails. I haven't even responded. I'm still thinking about buying a sauna.
Clinton
hasn't followed up with me, right?
Well,
ball dropped.
He wasn't the original guy though. The other guy was. So who doesn't matter?
Right.
So I think I get what you're saying, but in my opinion, selling in the form of valuable selling shouldn't ever stop until the sale is actually made, because you have no idea if somebody forgot about you, if they just had something blow up in their life, in their business, they maybe had to reallocate, and so their brain's not on it anymore. And if you stop following up, you're Clinton. I'm the sauna buyer. I'm still going to buy a sauna relatively soon, most likely.
Yeah.
And if I find another option other than whatever Clinton's selling, he'll lose the sale and he'll lose that opportunity. That if he kept following up and he's like, man, COVID, are you chilly during COVID? We can fix it. I don't know, whatever. So that's my opinion. Is the selling never stops. If you send out a proposal or a pitch, or you send a link to buy the thing and they haven't done it yet, that doesn't mean that they're blowing you off. That doesn't mean that they're an asshole because they just asked for this whole proposal. Literally last week, my team and I spent 10 hours on a proposal. Not even last week, sorry, last month. Last month, we spent 10 hours on a proposal for a company we had 5 phone calls with. And we submitted the proposal, and they're like, "Thank you so much." Like I had long conversations with them on the phone, detailing out revenue, what our revenue goal was going to be, how we were going to manage it, and all that kind of stuff. Went radio silent for a couple of weeks.
Yeah.
I followed up. Hey, we still on? Like, what do you think of this? Did you want to see any changes? Do you want to jump on with your co-founder? He replies. He's like, thanks. Sorry, I haven't followed up. Been super busy. We're actually running this by our advisors. We just want to make sure this is the right move, things like that. Followed up again. Now, last week was the message we got back saying, actually, we decided not to move forward with this. Our advisors, advised against it. Thought it was, not the right move at this particular time. Thank you so much for spending all the time on this proposal. Maybe we'll catch up in a year or two. Right? So, to answer your question, like that was the moment when I stopped selling.
Right.
Right? Was like the moment when they said no.
Yeah.
This isn't going to happen. But even that doesn't mean I'm not going to reach out next year.
Right.
I'm going to reach out
Yeah.
in first quarter of 2021.
Sure. And you'll probably nail it.
And at some point, we will probably be the marketing company that they go with.
Right.
Because we've done all this work, we've added all this value.
Yeah.
So I personally don't believe whether you're selling sneakers or whatever that you should stop selling, because that automatically means you'll never get the sale if you stop.
Yeah.
If you stop selling, right? Even after they've purchased from you, there's still an opportunity maybe for Sunlight and Saunas to come out with a freaking disco ball that drops down from the ceiling and sings a song like Al's My Favorite.
I will pre-order that 5 years in advance. I'll pre-order it based on just the thought about the technology to do that.
Yeah. I really want a sauna with that now in it.
It's not hard to do.
Yeah. So you get what I'm coming. I get what you're asking, and I just think while hard selling it does not work, in my opinion, better than other alternatives, I get why people have to hard sell. I understand that there's deadlines and pressures, but I don't believe anybody should ever stop selling their personality and their good human being, good ethics, good empathy. Like, I don't believe you should ever stop selling that relationship, because you never know. And if you're in the business of sales, that's how you make money. And for every time you stop going towards an opportunity that hasn't said a hard no yet, you're automatically letting that float away.
Dig it.
Silence.
Get it.
I'm going to put crickets there.
I'm going to end the show with a few things that I've learned. Do you guys know what is?
Skeet, skeet, skeet. No, I don't.
It's a water sprinkler.
You're showing your age, Rob.
Wow, dude.
Because it is
and your former industry.
It is the trendy thing of teenage girls on they call them Visco girls.
Oh, what the hell is a Visco girl?
So another topic for another podcast, but it's a trendy teenager stereotype.
Okay.
And is used when they're like laughing or like oh my, it's like the new OMG. OMG was millennial.
Really? I hate our culture.
Is teenage. So another one is our last show. I opened Ayoop.
Oh.
The video is hilarious of where this actually came from. But Ayoop and Ayoop is what you say when something is surprising. So like when something catches you off guard, and it comes from RuPaul has a show.
Oh yeah, I know.
Yeah. What is it?
RuPaul's drag.
So it's highly popular.
Yeah.
And one of the contestants on there was doing a video and talking about, I don't even know what they were talking about. And this is a drag queen talking, right? So we've got the wig on, and he's like going off, and he's like talking, and like mid-sentence he's like, and I
Really?
He just sits there for a minute. He goes, I hit my balls.
Is that where it came from?
Yeah, and that's where it stemmed from. And now it's like made its way to like teenage girls when they get like when something happens, like when somebody walks out and they have a different outfit, and you're like, and I oop.
Oh my gosh.
And like that's the saying now.
I hate it.
So 666. You can't even say it. You have to sound it. And I oop. I learned those.
That's your new thing. So you're a teenage girl.
I'm a teenage girl. All I need now is an oversized T-shirt, a scrunchie, and
those big stupid white shoes.
His thing with like all these
hot dudes.
Yeah.
Hey.
Well,
you know the way to my heart.
We'll address that after the show.
And with this, hey, I'm not ashamed. I love me some Justin Timberlake. So we're cheersing a little early. So, but anyways, we're all appreciative for those of you that watch. Don't forget, we're going live Tuesday evenings at 8:30 p.m. on Facebook and YouTube Live. Bringing back the live show. Super pumped. But don't forget to subscribe, because you will miss it when we go live. Subscribe on Instagram, YouTube, Facebook. Going live. Cheers, everyone. Cheers. To life and business. May you prosper in both. And cut.